Can you guys? You should be able to hear me. Let's just wait. We're going low. We're going very low. We're going lower than you think. Going low, 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 low. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. Come on in. Share the link. Share the link. Welcome in. Come on in. Share the link. Invite, ping, if you're on Twitter, whatever the vernacular is. How is everyone feeling? I'm traveling today, so I've basically got like this lamp, and that's basically it. So I don't have my mic, I don't have anything. Hopefully you guys can hear me well. I don't have a lot, but I wanted to just check in. I wanted to check in, and I wanted to see how we're all doing. It's been a few days since I've done a video. I get bored making videos when there's nothing really to talk about, you know? How many times can you say, buy Bitcoin, shut the fuck up, get fabulously wealthy? Actually, you can say that quite often. We can say that many, many times. Come on in. We got 600 people watching right now. I think we're going to get a couple thousand. The market is absolutely collapsing. See where the state of things are right now. I haven't got a long time, so this is not going to be a long stream. We currently have Bitcoin down 4.5%. 4.5%. The Nasdaq is down 2.45%. The S&P 500 is down 1.57%. This is look, all the Bitcoin miners are going down. Look at that bloodbath in the Bitcoin miners. Everything is collapsing right now. The world is ending. FBTC is down. Bitcoin is down. The VIX is sharply up 10% on the day. The DXY is above 101. The 10-year is down. The 2-year is down, which is kind of bullish. It's kind of a confusing day today. Donald Trump said that he's going to lift all sanctions on Russia if he's elected because it's hurting the dollar. So the clown show continues. We've got 900 people watching right now. Share the link and let's get people in here so we can start having this conversation about what's going on today. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. If you're watching this on Twitter, hit me a follow. The beautiful thing about algorithms, right? A lot of people don't like algorithms because they're weak, right? People believe that the algorithm is holding them back, and I've heard all kinds of stories about that. And I love the algorithm. I don't know why the algorithm loves me. The algorithm, as long as we work together, I always see that the algorithm loves Bitcoin, right? And that's what I'm trying to get it to do. I'm trying to get it to realize that the moment someone opens their mouth on Bitcoin, it should start sharing that piece of content to everyone in the world. And the only way that we get to do that is by the speed at which people hit follow, click on the link when it goes live, watch the videos, etc., etc. And by the way, it's not just mine, right? So follow me, follow all of your other favorite Bitcoin creators. The actual following is important. Like if we go live right now, we got 1,000 people watching, and this is obviously across Twitter and YouTube, right? We got almost 200, 1,200 people watching right now. Now, if suddenly in the space of 30 minutes, the YouTube gets 400 subscribers, for example, that's a very, very significant ratio of viewers to subscribers. So therefore, YouTube's going to say, all right, this channel's interesting. The computer's too dumb to understand what's going on. So say this channel's interesting. We've got our metrics. Let's push this channel so more people start hearing about Bitcoin. That's why I keep saying subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Help me out. And if you're on Twitter and you've not subscribed on YouTube, please go do that. If you're on YouTube and you've not followed me on Twitter or X, please go and do that. So here's an interesting question, right? I always get this question, right? And we need to talk about this. Can you explain how BTC goes down while the ETFs are buying? A lot of people are still haven't managed to get their head around the bull market multiplier effect. The multiplier effect is always in effect. It's not like it works or it doesn't work. The multiplier effect is always in effect. The question is whether the multiplier is multiplying to the upside or multiplying to the downside. And what that depends on is the net buying and selling that's going on, not just the one vertical of the ETFs. And by the way, the ETFs have been dumping. How many times did I tell you guys months ago? Anyone who's been watching my channel, another reason why you should subscribe is that months ago I told you that BlackRock was going to be the one that are the eternal diamond hands that are going to be holding on to Bitcoin, buying Bitcoin, never ever selling Bitcoin. Everyone said, nah, BlackRock is this, BlackRock is that. BlackRock's winning right now. They've had 2 days of net outflows from their fund, and it was like less than $50 million a time. While these other ones, including Fidelity, everyone's darling, has been dumping Bitcoin into the market. Fidelity has sold like 2,000 Bitcoin yesterday into the market. And of course, before everyone, people find the need to tell me that it's not BlackRock, it's their clients. It's not Fidelity, it's their clients. Yes, I told you that. Like, I'm not the one that you need to be explaining that to, right? All you got to do is go watch some of my videos from last year, and you'll be able to see that I've been laying this whole thing up. We now have almost 1,550 people watching right now. I want to say I appreciate every single one of you that's watching. I understand times may be hard. You may be thinking what's going on. You may be new to the market. If you're sitting here going, oh my God, what's going on? I thought we were going up, etc., etc. We are going up. Right? The only thing that's happening here is a sell-off. We've got a broad market sell-off going on. When the NASDAQ dumps 2.5%, it's not just gonna, Bitcoin's not just gonna not move, right? It's gonna be affected because people have to take profits. And then as Bitcoin starts moving, now liquidations start happening, etc., etc. So there is going to be movement and relation between the two asset classes. So, and that's the one thing that I think people really need to understand is that the the market is completely linked. Until the US dollar dies, the market will be completely linked with all other asset classes, right? And it's very, very important to know that. You're not sitting there going, "Oh my God, what's happening to Bitcoin?" But the market, if you see the Nasdaq go down, and you see real estate go down, and you see the bond market go down, etc., etc., just understand there's going to be some relation, and it's going to affect Bitcoin to some extent. Now, the question is, how long is it going to affect Bitcoin, right? How long is it going to, take this position? That's a question that we can't answer together here at this point, right? At the end of the day, what matters is the net supply and demand. And right now, what we have going on is an absolute increase in supply. So that's what's happening right now. It's very, very simple. You do not need to panic about what's going on here. It is a definite increase in supply that's causing this. Now, do I think I'm not in a caravan, unfortunately? No, I'm traveling right now. I don't have anything. I don't have my mic, so I ain't got the light. I ain't got the tripod. I'm using the MacBook Air camera right now. What can we do? Sometimes we just need to have a conversation between ourselves, right? And you just got to turn the camera on and just have this conversation. The reason why I wanted to have this conversation is that Bitcoin Twitter is going nuts. Bitcoin Twitter is going absolutely nuts. We almost have 1,900 people watching this right now. So please share the link. If you haven't subscribed on YouTube, please subscribe on YouTube. If you have subscribed on YouTube but you haven't been following on Twitter, please come follow me on Twitter. The algorithm must be disciplined into sharing Bitcoin content out to people, and a matter of fact is how fast somebody subscribes to the channel. So please go and do that. So, look, at the end of the day, you know, the question here is what's going to happen, right? And I would actually think that Bitcoin is holding up quite well when it comes versus the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq right here, right? I think if this was any other time period, this would have been dumping a lot more. The questions are moving so fast, by the way, in case you're wondering if I'm like reading them. I'm trying to read them, but they're just moving so fast at this point, so I apologize. Look, look, at the end of the day, if you're scared right now, I completely have empathy. If you're sitting there going, "Oh my God, what's going on here? This is, you know, this is going to be tough. Where market's going down, we're going to enter an extended bear market here. Is this over, etc., etc." Pull your head out of your ass. Understand what's going on here, right? Think like an investor. Think like someone who is understanding how the market works. We've got the biggest clown show in the world happening right now, and it's here for the next couple months, right? Which is the US elections. That is the single biggest clown show in the world. We had the UK, clown show. We had the French clown show, right? Those are like the layups, right? To the main clown show. Now we got the main clown show. The main clown show is one where every single time the circus comes to town, everyone thinks that if this outcome doesn't happen, America's going to come to an end. Or if that outcome happens, then this person's going to be, a new version of Adolf. Like, there is a whole, drama and circus around elections, especially the biggest, baddest, circus in town, which is the United States election. The reality is very simple, right? And by the way, right now we almost have 2,200 viewers right now. So I appreciate you joining me. I understand you might be going through a time period where either you are scared, right, or you're ecstatic, one or the other. And my job here is to try and help you understand why, if you are scared, you need to actually be ecstatic about what's going on here. So that's why I wanted to just jump on, even though I'm traveling, and just try and have this conversation with you and hopefully calm nerves down or whatever else is going on. Because look, it's so easy for everyone to say, "Oh, you're nervous right now, you're a pussy." But people have got their life savings. People have got, you might have been transitioning from an asset like real estate or the S&P 500 to Bitcoin, and then wondering what the hell's going on with the volatility of it, right? This is a volatile asset. That's how it's going to be for the next few years. I predict it stays volatile for a lot longer than what people think. And the reason why I think that is very, very simple, right? It has a finite supply, right? When something has a finite supply, and there's an unlimited amount of demand because there's unlimited amounts of money to be printed. You cannot sit there and say, okay, this is going to go up in a predictable way until there is a certain amount of capital saturation. And that capital saturation that we're looking at is a $900 trillion capital saturation. So we need enough of that $900 trillion to be in the asset for then the asset to be less and less volatile, right? And I appreciate a lot of people complimenting me on the beard. I wasn't sure whether to go for it or not, but seems to be working. So I guess we'll stick with it and see what happens, see how it grows. Look, we've got 2,300 people watching this right now. It's unbelievable. I appreciate each and every single one of you. And understand this: no matter whether the price of Bitcoin is 70,000 or 40,000, there's still always only 21 million Bitcoin. And that is what drives the ultimate price. Whatever's going on in the short term, we were 65,000 last Monday. Think about that. 65,000 just over a week ago, right? What are we talking about here? This is a volatile asset. Understand it's volatile. If you are sitting there and you're panicking about this, you maybe have too high of an allocation, right? Maybe your allocation is too high for what your for how much you've allocated, right? So this is not something that you need to be worried about. We've got a market sell-off going on. If this was just Bitcoin selling off, that would be a thing where you'd say, okay, so like, what's the reason why just Bitcoin is selling off and nothing else is moving, right? You would then analyze, okay, has anything changed in Bitcoin, for example, right? Whereas this is a broad market sell-off, right? This is a broad market sell-off. It started off with the S&P, the Nasdaq, etc., etc., and now we are dealing with Bitcoin. It's as simple as that. So this is nothing to be worried about. It's even if, for example, right, I'll give you a good example. When the FTX situation happened, that was a time to pause and think about Bitcoin, right? And the reason why was because it was an isolated situation. So it was like, okay, well, Bitcoin's going down as a result of this. The market, the S&P 500 is not moving, the Nasdaq's not moving. Is this something to truly be concerned about? And of course, the answer was no. But that is an example of a unique moment in the market where you need to actually stop and think like, okay, has this changed the dynamics of the asset that we're working for or that we're working with here? This is a broad market sell-off. Everything's down, right? What's quite interesting is that interest rates are down and the DXY is up and the market's down and Bitcoin's down. It's like there's an interesting amount of readjusting going on here, and I think there's a couple reasons for it. Number one, the unemployment data came out. It really I kind of feel like it was leaked a little bit early for some reason, right? It just feels like the market started moving a little bit too early. Then we had the Fed chairs come out and say, I think we need to do a rate cut. I think we need to do a rate cut in the next meeting, which, by the way, is in the next 10 days, right? So you're going to get a rate cut in the next 10 days. The question is it going to be 0.25 or half a point? I would lean on the fact that it's going to be 0.25. If it's any more than that, we could end up shaking the market a little bit too much, a little bit more than we want right now, right? So you have, and somebody else, what's your prediction for the Fed rate cut? And I think it's going to be 0.25. If it's more than that, it's going to be quite interesting to see how the market reacts to this because it could be a major signal that something is wrong and the market may not like that, right? So, look, I got friends of mine who've been messaging me saying, hey, should I buy more right now? Should I wait? Blah, blah, blah. And my answer is whether you buy at 54 or whether you buy at 53, it's not really going to make much of a difference. So you need to just execute on your purchase, right? And if you've got a market like this where things are going down and you can actually take advantage of a down day like this one, then go ahead and do that. Also, by the way, we've just had a stock market dip. It then recovered in a V-shaped fashion, and now we're going down to test whether or not that correction was meaningful or not. And I predict it holds as we're this close to the election. And as we get closer to the election, I think you're going to see a lot more clarity come around, and that clarity is going to start coming in around mid October. And then once that clarity comes around, I think you'll start seeing the market go up. So there's nothing to be afraid of going on right now. There is absolutely no reason to sit there and go, okay, what's actually happening here? And I need to be terrified, or I need to be taking this into account, or this is happening, that's happening. And I know people are terrified because of the type of comments I'm getting on Twitter. People telling me that I've lost my mind, I'm always wrong, this, that, and the other. It always happens every time the market goes down and people get emotional, right? But people keep love to remind me that I said 100K by May 7th. Yeah, it was a prediction, and the prediction was wrong. Like, it is what it is, right? So, and by the way, if I really wanted to be, a stickler for things, I could say, hey, which May 7th? But I won't do that, right? That'll piss off a lot of people. So, yeah. So obviously May 7th, 100K by May 7th was wrong. I don't know what's going to happen for the rest of the year. I think we're going to be closer to 90 than we are to 50 by the end of the year. I think so. Either way, the main point is you got to acquire the asset that is the scarcest asset. By the way, right now we got 2,800 plus people watching this. I want to say I appreciate every single one of you for watching this. And if you haven't subscribed on YouTube, please go and do that. If you're watching on Twitter, you haven't subscribed on YouTube, please help me and subscribe on YouTube. And if you are watching on YouTube and you haven't subscribed on Twitter, please come follow me on Twitter. Like I said, the algorithm works like that. I need to be able to send a spank through the algorithm and see the reverberations for it to start sharing the content out to people so we can get people hopefully to their one Bitcoin before this thing takes off. So what I want to do now, just so now that we understand, like, okay, what's going on here. Basically, it's a broad market sell-off. I want to know if you have any questions. I don't have much time, like I said at the beginning of this, so I want to try and just go through like a round of questions, basically. And if you have any questions, type them in, and I'll answer them. We're almost at 2,900 people. Can you imagine that? 2,900 people. That's amazing. 2,900 people. If each and every single one of us has one Bitcoin, do you own an FP, John? In my opinion, the best one. When moon? Sooner than you think, later than you hope. All right, here we go. Questions are coming in now. I don't really listen to TA. I think TA is, interesting, but I don't really listen to TA. Not with an asset like this. Did you guys enjoy? Did you guys enjoy the destruction of the power opinion price model? You know what's fascinating about that is every single time some one of those guys, you know, posts about it, it's getting less and less views, less and less likes, less and less interaction, which I think overall is good, right? I don't mean to be a hater on anyone's work or career or whatever else, but I just think trying to help people multiply their bitcoins, been saying that we're not going to teach people how to trade, but we're going to multiply our bitcoins, and then coming out with tweets like Bitcoin isn't Bitcoin, it's hyperbola, and it's this, that, and the other. I think that's a little bit retarded. Partagas or H. Upman? I'm a Partagas guy. Cuban Partagas, by the way. Where do you think the bottom is? I don't really know. I don't really know here. I'm just trying to acquire. You know what it's like when you have money and then you like buy the dip, but then it keeps dipping, and then you buy the dip again, and then it keeps dipping, and then you buy some more of the dip because you figure out how to generate some liquidity, and then it starts dipping again. That's where I'm at right now. Trying to figure out how to buy some more. Um, let's see. We got over 3,000 people watching this right now, which I just want to say I appreciate every single one of you. Please subscribe. If you're on YouTube, if you're subscribed on YouTube, go to Twitter and follow me there. If you're on Twitter, please go to YouTube and follow me there. Help me spank the shit out of this algorithm. Any percentage you think of a portfolio should be towards IBIT. Doesn't need to be exact, but range. I don't know. It really depends what you're comfortable with. It depends if you understand the product. It depends on all these things. You have to understand the product of what you're buying. If you understand the product, you understand what the process is and how it works, etc. And the other, yes, I think there should be. I'm tired of all these people saying, "Oh no, the only way to do it is self custody." That's just not. Most assets are not self custody assets. Most people have not bought self custody assets ever in their life, and they want to be able to get to blame BlackRock if anything goes wrong. So they're going to buy IBIT. Nothing wrong with that in my mind. Did you buy the dip? Yes. What are the chances of Bitcoin reaching 100K by the end of this year? I don't know. I think it's quite. I think I wouldn't say it's at this moment in time. I wouldn't say it's likely. But then again, we got a circus in town, guys. How many times I said this? Said this at the beginning. We have a circus in town. And the circus in town is the U.S. election. There is 2 times the 30-year average of cash sitting on the sidelines. What's going to happen to that? All of that cash is being educated about Bitcoin. What's going to happen to that after the certainty emerges in the markets? We don't know. We don't know the answer to that question. I think it's very important for people to, learn how to step away from the markets. Andrew said people are buying one full coin orders on Coinbase like crazy right now. There you go. I haven't even had a chance to look at the books today. Do you think the election will be a positive event as always, or is it? I think it's going to be pretty positive. This is a question I keep getting asked. I don't know the answer. I don't have any lenders that I trust that I've used, so I can't really say. What's your regular? Hold on, this person said, "Thank you, thanks, Todar. I hope I got your name right. Todor. I don't know. What's your? I don't have a regular schedule. I just do what I want to do. That's why you need to subscribe. You need to subscribe so you get notified. I do not have a regular channel. I am not a media producer. As I said this when I first opened up my YouTube channel a year ago, I'm not a producer. I don't have a moron following me around with a camera. I don't read the news to you. I don't do any of that. I just give you my perspective and what I think is going on and why I think you got to get to one Bitcoin right now. Otherwise, your entire progeny is going to look at you in the face when you're on your deathbed and wonder why you fucked up so badly. That's the only reason I'm doing this. I do not care about likes. I do not care about, speaking at fucking conferences. I don't care. I could make a video every single day for the next 8 years without making a single penny. I'm lucky to be in that position, right? Worked hard to be in that position. But my point is this. I do not have a regular schedule. I need you to subscribe. It's important for that. And the only reason I need you to subscribe, by the way, is because the algorithm needs to be spanked so we can get more people to one Bitcoin, right? Um, Michael said, I agree, boring. You can see who the noobs are. I've ridden this ride before. BTC goes down, you buy more. That's the only way you win. Buy the blood. Hodl. Exactly. That's someone who gets it. Thomas said, British is the coolest badass Indian I know. There you go. Uh, when will Bitcoin become a risk-off asset? That's a good question. Bitcoin becomes a risk-off asset after the dollar goes away. Until the dollar goes away, Bitcoin will not be a risk-off asset. It will always be a risk-on asset. Because remember, the majority of the energy of the world is risk-on at most times. We want to be risk-on. We don't want to be risk-off. As humanity, the only reason we managed to create the things that we managed to create is because we are risk-on by nature. So the stable asset will always be the stable asset, and that will be U.S. dollars, right? And again, a stable, I'm using it in a short-term sense, not a long-term sense. Yusuf said, what kind of cold storage device do you use? I work with a company called Casa that does multi-sig. And so we have one of everything, I think. Um, one of the things that people don't realize about what's going on here, and I said this last year, there's going to be a period of rotation. This rotation is going to last until all of the people who are selling, all of the people who are leveraged, all of the people who are sitting there and they're absolutely, out of their minds, dumping their Bitcoin, or they're in a position where they have to dump their Bitcoin. They they will rotate their Bitcoin ownership. Their Bitcoin will be owned by people who own BlackRock assets. Their Bitcoin will be owned by people who never let go of their assets ever again. That now. And if you don't believe me, you just got to go to heyapollo.com. They got a great ETF tracker and look every day at what's going on with who's buying and who's selling. And what you realize is that BlackRock buys and 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 buys. That's it. That's all they do. They own, they own, they own, they own, and they own. and they own forever, and they own some more, and they create trust to own it forever. They lend against it so they never have to sell it. They own and own and own and own and own some more and own again and own and buy it and own it and secure it and buy it and secure it and own it. That's the mission. That's BlackRock's mission. Fuck all these other ETFs. Whatever they're doing is great. Some are really great. They got some great innovative things going on, great transparency things going on. BlackRock is the killer whale. BlackRock is the one that's in there doing what hodlers need to be doing, which is owning the asset forever. That's what's going on. BlackRock is true hodl energy. Who is buying through BlackRock are the true diamond hands. They already got the yachts, they already got the cars, they already got the houses, the kids are educated, the kids are out, blah, blah, blah. They don't have to worry about anything. They want to they want to hold it forever. And that is who you're fighting against. Jonathan, those are rookie numbers around here. You gotta crank a little. Come on, you gotta crank those numbers up a little bit. Um, let's see. Thomas said we can all collude and manipulate the market. It's not collusion, is it? It's not really collusion. It's not manipulating the market. What are we talking about here? Um, mm, 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 mm. Diesel, this is the people always wait for this moment. I'm waiting for someone to ask British stupid questions so you can go on a rant. But yeah. Um, check Twitter. I do. How many things do you want me to do here? We got 3,600 people watching right now. I'm on a live guy. What do you want me to do? How many things do you want? I'm checking Twitter now. Now I'm checking Twitter and I can't pay attention to you, Shaquille. So what do I do here, right? Tag me in. James is a great. He's a senior analyst at CoinDesk, and he said, "This is I'm quoting James Van Stratton's post. The funny thing is, Bitcoin has consolidated for the last 6 months, and now capitulating all above $1 trillion market cap. We've come far. Absolutely, absolutely. I put out a tweet earlier. I want you to go find it and like it. It was when was it? About 4 hours ago, I said I have ridden Bitcoin from $5,000 to $64,000 to $34,000 to $69,000 to $15,000 back up to $74,000. If anyone thinks that 74,000 to 54,000 is going to bother me, you can get fucked. I didn't say that. I said you can cry harder, but the energy was you can get fucked. Right? That is the power and the energy that you got to approach this with. This is about owning this asset forever, not about, and you can tell anyone who's worried about the short-term price, movement of Bitcoin, you haven't figured out yet that this is a forever hold asset. You haven't figured out yet that what the meaning of there is only 21 million actually means. You haven't figured that out yet. Simple as that. Hey, this is another delusional thing, right? If Trump is elected, it's blasting through 100K, in my opinion. That's a great opinion to have, but the reality is your president, if you are a Bitcoiner, has already been elected because there was no election. And he is already in power and he is already doing things that need to be done. And that person's name is Larry Fink. President Larry Fink is already in effect. Already in effect. I don't care whether the president is Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, Jeb Bush, RFK, JD Vance, name some other morons, whatever. Nancy Pelosi, I don't care. Elizabeth Warren, I don't care who the president is. The actual president has already decided that Bitcoin is a co-opted asset now, and that's it. Bitcoin is going to win no matter what happens here. No matter who America decides to vote for, this is going to win. And it's as simple as that because the incentives are aligning. In the space of 1 year, we went from Bitcoin is for drug addicts and drug dealers to a Bitcoin House, a Bitcoin Senate, a Bitcoin president, and a Bitcoin VP, and Bitcoin both sides of the aisle, etc., etc. You don't you think that's a coincidence? After BlackRock gets in the game, months are taking over the game. They're here to win, and they're going every step of the way. And all you got to do is go watch my videos to see how we documented everything that they were going to do. That's exactly what happened. Hold on, I have to catch up on these questions. Adams, I like this. I like this. Yeah, you're welcome. You remember, you did the work. I was just here to kick your ass. Look, we got 3,800 watching. If you are here and you're on YouTube, please subscribe on YouTube, then go to Twitter and follow me there. If you're on Twitter, follow me on Twitter, go to YouTube, subscribe to me there so we can get this message out. The faster you do that in the live stream, the faster this algorithm gets. Look what's happened. I started saying that, people started subscribing, people started doing what they do, and we've now moved all the way to 4,000 people watching because that's how this works. Just because I'm not a tech guy doesn't mean I don't understand incentives. I will be coming to Poland at some point. I really want to visit Poland. I've been to Krakow once, but I was very young. Wow, there's so many. Hold on. I'm trying to get through all of these questions. So you guys can see them scrolling along the side of the screen. I have to sit here and actually scroll through each and every single one of them. Yeah, this is a perfect. Here we go from Remy. BlackRock wants fees. The ETF in Feb at the high, but holding. So how is BlackRock manipulating it? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Morons don't understand how financial markets work, and that's okay, right? Not everyone is designed to understand how financial markets work, and most importantly, incentivized to learn how financial markets work because it's better if they don't know that the financial industry makes money. So, look, at the end of the day, right? Moments like this, broad market dips. Every time something dips, understand you got to ask a question first: is this a broad market or a focused? Right? FTX situation was a very focused, particular dip because of what was going on with FTX and it affected that industry. This is a broad market dip, right? This is a broad market dip, which means you just got to sit through it. Go travel, go take a trip, go smoke a cigar, go do something and go relax and go travel. Because ultimately, there are always only three rules to Bitcoin. Step number one, you buy Bitcoin. Step number two, shut the fuck up. And step number three, you get fabulously wealthy. I love you guys. Thank you for all the almost 3,900 people that are tuned in for this. I appreciate you. I hope you're well. Don't be scared. Don't be scared out of your Bitcoin. It's exactly what BlackRock wants. And watch every day for the BlackRock buying numbers because they keep buying it up. You know why? Because their job is to buy, buy, and own and secure and buy and secure and own it and protect it and secure it and own it and gobble up more and gobble up more and gobble up more and gobble up more. That's what they want to do because there's a finite asset. This is the first asset BlackRock has even seen that has absolute finality of scarcity. So take care. I love you all. Don't be scared. Follow me and